Okay, so if you run a small business, you know this feeling, right? You need to keep track of your leads, but digging into most CRMs feels like you're trying to learn how to fly a 747, when all you really need is something that just gets you from A to B. Let's talk about this, because there's a much simpler way to think about it.
And look, this right here from a user on Reddit, it just perfectly sums up the whole problem. This is a real person in the trenches basically saying, hey, I need something simple, but all you're selling me is this super complicated stuff I'll never use. Sound familiar? And this is the disconnect, right here in plain sight. On the left, what that business owner actually needs. Super simple. On the right, this giant list of features that most CRMs throw at you. It's total overkill. And what happens? You end up with this really expensive software that nobody even uses. Okay, so here's where we need to kind of shift our thinking a little bit. This isn't about finding a fancier address book. The real problem, the one that's actually costing you money, is what we call the follow-up problem. It's that mad dash to get back to people right away. And man, this quote from marketing expert Jonathan Mast, it just nails the feeling. You know that initial rush? The ads are working, leads are coming in, it's awesome. But then that feeling can turn into pure anxiety, like fast. Because every single one of those leads is a ticking clock, and you know you have to get back to them now. Let's stop talking feelings and look at some cold, hard data. Check this out. This is from a case study with an HVAC company, and the numbers are just wow. So doing it by hand, it took them an average of 4 hours to get back to a new lead. With automation, 12 minutes. I mean, that's not just a small improvement. That is a complete game changer for making a good first impression. So you see, the answer isn't to go find another CRM, maybe one with even more buttons. No, the real breakthrough happens when we start looking at a totally different tool, automation. And listen, automation can sound like this big, scary, techie word, but it's really not. All it is, at its heart, is using technology to do all the boring, repetitive stuff that you hate doing anyway. You just tell it when to start and what to do. Let's make it even simpler. Basically, every single automation boils down to a super simple two-part idea. You've got your trigger, that's the if this happens part, and you've got your action, the then do this part. That's it. It's this simple if-then recipe that can run your whole business. All right, let's use a real-world example. So a trigger, a super common one, is when a potential customer fills out the contact form on your website. They type in their info, they hit submit, and bam. That's the trigger. That's the spark that lights the fuse. And what happens next? Boom, the action. The system just automatically, instantly, without you doing a single thing, sends out a welcome email. See how that works? If this, then that. It's simple, it's powerful, and it completely solves that whole follow-up anxiety thing we were talking about. Okay, so now that we get the basic if-then idea, let's see how you can stack these little recipes together to build something way more powerful, like a visual system that runs your entire sales process for you.
You know, pretty much every business has a sales pipeline, even if they don't call it that. It's really just the steps someone takes to go from a total stranger to a happy paying customer. A really basic one looks something like this, right? A new lead comes in, you book a call, you send a proposal, and then cha-ching, you get paid. Okay, but here is where the magic really happens with automation. Instead of you having to remember to drag and drop little cards from one column to the next, the system does it all for you. So a form gets submitted, bam, a new lead card just pops into the first column. They book a meeting through your calendar link, whoosh, the card slides over to call booked, all by itself. And that's really where the tools today have changed so much. They're not just a CRM or just an email tool. Like this quote says, a lot of them, like Go High Level, combine everything. Your CRM, your marketing automation, your sales funnels, all into one spot. Honestly, the best analogy for it is think of it like mission control for your business. It's one dashboard, one screen where you can see all your leads, your sales, your messages. No more jumping between 10 different browser tabs. And when you move to a system like this, you can start getting rid of all those other subscriptions. Just think about it for a second. Your email marketing service, your Calendly or whatever you use for scheduling, your phone system, your pipeline software, all that stuff can now live under one roof. It just simplifies everything. And it saves you a ton of money. Okay, but let's circle all the way back to the beginning, back to that feeling of being totally overwhelmed. Because it's easy to look at all this and think, oh my gosh, I have to build this giant, perfect, complex system right now. But you don't. Please, like the quote says, do not feel like you have to build this massive thing on day one. And this is maybe the most important point of this whole thing. When you build your very first automation, its job isn't to save you hours and hours of time. Not yet. Its only job is to prove to you that it works. Just get one simple thing running, see it happen automatically, and that little win will give you the confidence to do so much more. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on as you go about your day. What's the first tiny, repetitive, manual thing you do over and over again that you could just hand over to a workflow? Whatever pops into your head first. That's it. That's your starting line.